Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Spook Coast to Coast.
Yo, 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 guys.
Hi, everyone. So, babe, how was your weekend?
Weekend doing good.
Weekend was
very
good.
hot. We're sitting here in a hot-ass house right now.
It's a little swampy in here, folks, but we're trying to make it the best we can. Our AC is down and called the repairman to see how much it costs, and it's a pretty penny. So,
oh Lord,
stressing about the money and about the temperature in here.
Joy is on what's up, Shan? Joy is driving back from a road trip, so you will see her pop in, hopefully in the live show.
She's in the chat
is
right
a
now.
good one, so please do not miss out. What's up, Shannon? Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, the man himself.
Yes.
That's
and I don't blame you guys for tuning in now. We normally come in late, and we decided to be on time.
And now you guys are late. Yeah, for real.
So, hey, we have Married with Paranormal in now. So, babe, without further ado, let's tell the good folks about. I'm sorry, I normally have like a little zinger to bring in the guest, but I think the heat is doing it for me right now. I can't even think of anything.
Well, what's up, Chi McGreedy? Thank you, guys. Stay in here. Do not leave. All right. So for this Sunday, we welcome someone who is the world's record holder for solving the largest corn maze blindfolded. He blends mind reading with charm, wit, and storytelling. Please welcome in the Midwest mystic himself, 𝗟𝗏𝗽𝗆. What's up,
Joe?
Thank you. What a wonderful introduction. And again, sorry about the heat. I didn't mention I'm in my loft area, and so we have to get like 3 fans triangulated to blow wind up here because we're on the 3rd floor and I'm up in the loft. And yeah, when our AC was out a few weeks ago, I did not even come up here. I do not. So thank you for braving the humidity and the summer and all that to make this happen. I've been looking forward to this.
Yes,
and us too,
for sure.
We've been looking forward to it. Just Jenny was telling me about the whole like corn maze thing, and I was like, man, that's interesting.
Thank you.
How big is that corn maze? And where?
So the year I solved it, it's at Richardson Farm, which is right on the Wisconsin-Illinois border in a town called Spring Grove, Illinois. Every year they do a different corn maze shape, depending on what it's the anniversary of. They've done sports teams. They've done the 100-year anniversary of the Boy Scouts, all sorts of stuff. The year I solved it in 2010, it was 11.1 miles of trail that spanned over 33.8 acres. The largest maze they have ever done was just over 12 miles in about the same acreage. And no one has beaten my time since then. Technically, my time doesn't matter whether I was blindfolded or not. I have the fastest time, period. I just happened to be blindfolded, which is kind of awesome and fun. And occasionally, like every couple of years, I'll run into the owners of the farm, and they'll be like, "Hey, you want to shoot for going back for your record?" And like, I'm always thinking like, maybe next year. But as I get older, I'm like, oof, that's I don't know, outside for that long. Like maybe like the 20-year anniversary, I'll try it again. That's coming up already in 4 years without giving. By the way, I am 75. It's all the mystical powers that make me look this young. So there we go.
You look good.
Thank you.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. I didn't even know they had like the world's largest corn maze, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, what do you call it? Like, not a competition, but like a
what exhibition?
No, like when they say like, oh, can you eat this thing, like a challenge?
Oh, a challenge, like the.
Oh yeah. It was just one of those things where it was like my time was so ahead of everyone else. We were like, will this count if we submit it for a world record? And so we went through We went on to recordcenter.com, sent them all our videos and photos and the staff members and the person from the newspaper that covered it. And they so we'll see what happens in 2030, which is only 4 years away without freaking everyone out too much. But it was that was like my first. It's funny that I still talk about, because like that was like my first like big, for lack of a better term, big break. Like, because all that October I got on the news for it. I was in the newspaper, and it was the first time I ever did live radio as well.
Oh.
So it was one of those things where it just all kind of like, that was, if I could pinpoint like one thing that like really, like, for lack of a better term, launched my career and started like selling tickets for me and everything, it was definitely that, hands down.
Yeah, that's cool. So let's even start. How did this all begin for you? Like, was it something like, I know it's not, I don't want to call it like tricks or anything like that, but like, I don't know if you call it like magic or like mysticism. So
yeah, so
you learned that, or was it something supernatural that kind of like led to this?
It was kind of all of it. So I didn't grow up with a lot of differentiations between all that stuff personally. That said, I went to 12 years of very religious school where they said, don't do any of this, which just made me want to do it all more.
Yes.
I mean, long story short, I was a weird kid. I was a very weird kid. My great-grandmother taught me how to read playing cards, which is cartomancy, a form of folk magic, where instead of reading tarot cards, you read, the Ace of Spades and the Queen of Hearts and the Two of Hearts and all that, rather than like the Hierophant and, the Seven of Swords and all of that. So I learned how to do that pretty young. And right around that same time, my grandfather showed me my first card trick. And like, magic was really popular on TV, and I got booked as a street magician at Six Flags Great America, which is a theme park just north of Chicago. When I was 17, that was like my first like actual like professional job. And by the end of that first like month, I wasn't doing any magic tricks. I was just doing palm readings. I did some, I started trying some mind reading stuff and everything. So so it was one of those things where I just had the opportunity. I also learned some sideshow stunts where I learned how to like hammer a nail into my nose and stick my hand in an animal trap. So even though I do consider those things like a part and a form of, for lack of a better term, performance magic, there's definitely aspects to performance magic that aren't tricks. Like is there a trick to learning to swallow a sword? Yes, but it's not a trick sword. You really do swallow it. There's not a, there's a knack to it. There's a skill to it. Yes, but there's, but it's not, so doing things that are possible and making them seem impossible was really fascinating to me as well. And it was also funny because from a very young age, when I was doing stuff that was real, people would be like, okay, but how did you do that? And I was like, well, I just did what my great grandmother said, trust your intuition, look at them. They seem like a Jack of Diamonds person. So go with that. And so it is a form of magic. There's definitely, I don't use the title magic or magician in much of what I do, because when people hear that, they think about like birthday parties for kids and sawing a woman in half and all of that. And so for the last few years, I've become known as a mind reader, but I've kind of been re-embracing the term mystic. I'm bringing back a show of mine called Mystic this October, and that talks about the history of people who were real life mystics, like Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet, and people like Howard Thurston, who's on my wall back here for the audio only listeners. That's from his poster, The Wonder Show of the Universe, Do the Spirits Come Back? And he also claimed the title mystic. So I like that because it allows for a certain amount of, we'll just say, theatrical leeway It allows me to you know, call on actual like symbolism and parts of my spiritual practice and things I genuinely believe in, while also applying, you know, theatrical storytelling and shorthand in order to create a much more immersive experience. So my shows, like the ones I do at the Maxwell Mansion in Lake Geneva, it's not like a big theater. It's a ballroom in an old house that was built in the 1800s. If you go to my Instagram at @JoeDiamondLive, you'll see photos and videos of me. It's a beautiful mirror and crystal ballroom with a gold chandelier, and we fit only about 35 people in there. So when people come there, it's very intimate. It's very immersive. And in that parlor back in the 1800s and early 1900s, psychics, magicians, mediums, hypnotists, mesmerists, that was the entertainment back then. That was who you invited into your home if you were super wealthy and sat and, you know, experienced, you know, the strange and unusual. And for a variety of reasons in the 20th century, a lot of those things became very separate and separated. Partially, I think, because of Harry Houdini, but also I think just culturally as well. And I really do try to, you know, reinvoke that era and that feeling where it's not something you sit back and watch passively. It is something, you know, the audience is a part of. So during the show, I'll have people think of things like their old PIN codes, and I'll try to guess those numbers. I'll have them think of friends and family members. I'll have them think of people who are alive, people who are passed on. I'll use a crystal ball at one point. I also do some energy work, some telekinesis work, say that 5 times fast, with some spoon bending and so on. And then the finale, without giving the show away, in case anyone in the Midwest wants to come see it, the last part of the show is, rather than me reading someone else's mind, someone else reads my mind. And there's fun little, I have a background in theater too, so finding the story, finding like the why we're doing this is a big part of it for me as well. And invoking kind of like an old Twilight Zone episode where, like, if you went to an old house to see a mind reading show, it wouldn't be about the mind reader. It would likely start with like 2 people coming up. I don't believe in any of this stuff. Well, I find it fascinating. Let's see what happens. Then they watch the show. Something weird happens in the show. And then on the way home, you know, the weirdness kind of continues. And there's this lingering of, did that really happen? You know, so that's kind of the best way to describe what I'm going for and kind of the vibes of my shows. And it's the vibe that people describe after the fact too. So it's good to know that, you know, it's something that even in, you know, the world of 2026, people turn off their phones, they get off their phones, and we can, you know, still connect like human beings for an hour without technology. That said, using technology like this to connect with you guys and everyone listening and watching the recordings and stuff, that is amazing. That is the point of this technology, which is to connect us. Unfortunately, I think once, you know, you got to use it to connect, not use it to, you know, whatever technology is going. Don't want to go off. I live right on the coastline of Lake Michigan, so every other town is having companies want data centers built. So without getting too into all of that, but yeah, it's a weird time with all that. So I think, you know, no matter where you fall on that level too, I think everyone agrees that getting, you know, connecting, spending time together, you know, learning more about how other people think and kind of our own intuitions and such, I think is, because I think our brains are already the most amazing and advanced supercomputer. I don't think AI has anything on us for at least our foreseeable lifetimes, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, 100% correct. Like at the end of the day, AI won't be able to have the emotion or whatever, or that things that like humans would input into like a storyline or a movie or a vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very robotic. So
Real quick, we didn't talk about this earlier. So I did mention before we went live, my friend Dr. Anthony Barnhart at Carthage College in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He actually put together like this random idea I had one day. Long story short, we've been using old psychological techniques and basically the tools of mind readers and magicians and running them through AIs to see if A, it still works, and B, if the AI can figure it out or track how or why it works. And I'm happy to say it doesn't. It is just has the same blind spots our brains have, our minds have. Its attention can be to the degree it has attention, its attention can be focused elsewhere and so on. His students ended up winning a grant for this research, and we're likely going to be speaking about it in some really cool and prolific high-profile places, hopefully in the next year or so is the plan. But there's been some really, it just makes me go, oh, okay, yeah, got nothing to worry about with AI and my, it's not gonna, I kind of feel like every time there's a big leap forward. Do you want to know what people said when the printing press came about? And like, this was literally, you can find this in like journals and like people's like notes to each other at the time. People thought, oh, if too many people can read, they're not going to remember. Like even from like as far back as that to the printing press, that technological advancement, there were people going, I don't know about this. This is gonna make people just not what you can just reference a book now at any old time, and anyone will have access to this knowledge and stuff. And it's like, and of course, I'm sure there were reasons people wanted to, people in power didn't want people who weren't in power to have the knowledge they had. Luckily, that's not like that at all these days. Yeah. But going back and learning about it, radio, people were like, there was this hilarious, man, I wish if someone in the chat or anyone finds this, please message it to me, because I'm spacing on it and I don't know where it would be in my notes. But apparently, research this, make sure this isn't something I made up in my brain. But I remember reading about a sermon someone gave about the dangers of radio, because this was voices through the ether, and we don't know if that's our voice or a demonic voice. And again, we're talking about simple AM FM radio at this point. So every time there's a new up, and that's why I'm so fascinated with history. And my conspiracy theory is that everything's gonna be okay eventually.
Eventually, well, yeah. People
eventually,
fear what they don't know. So everything is like, oh, yes, that's witchcraft and this and that, and later on, it's like, shit, we've been doing that forever.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole radio. I don't know. It feels like, damn, who was it? I don't know if it was. Oh my God, was it Tesla that was experimenting with doing like he was making like almost like a spirit box?
Edison. Edison was trying to create a device.
And then he was hearing voices and stuff, and then experimenting with that, and they loved all that.
Oh yeah. Well, around that time, seances were a big deal, and
I would love to have lived in that era. I want to.
Yeah.
If I could, I would throw myself back in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and that's a great thing with something like at the Maxwell too. You really do feel like you've stepped back in time as soon as you step into that building. You look at any of the photos of the building on their site or on my site, it really feels like I didn't start off making sure like I was working in only historical venues. And the truth is I don't. I mean, people hire me for their house parties and to entertain at their company events and stuff. I don't get quite as weird as in those situations. But when people step into my world in like these, spooky historical places, I'm able to, there's kind of the mental preparation and desire for it to be a little stranger you know, a little weirder, you know.
Yeah,
So
it is off another vibe, I guess I would say.
yeah, yeah. And again, part of that is just that feeling of like stepping into, even if it's not another world, like another vibe, like, oh, we're in a room where it feels like something supernatural could happen. And
Yeah.
that's something that, that again, you know, even with live shows now, you know, with like these massive, you know, concerts and everything, it's, and I think it's great. I think, you know, there's the fact that there's, you know, so many people wanting to experience, you know, a live show with an artist. It worries me a little bit when they then interview those people and they go, I don't remember a single thing from that Taylor Swift concert. You know, that worries me.
Yeah.
I think that's just, you know, the overload and all of that. But at the same time, like, yeah, being able to be in a, you know, for lack of a better term, a more intimate experience where you feel like, oh, now a lot of people get to experience this firsthand.
Do you think so say you're doing these shows in the same place they had a seance room and they would do trying to talk to spirits and stuff, do you, and then say you doing that now, like this type of like work now in that same type of, in the same environment, do you ever get like any paranormal experiences or poltergeist experience?
All the time.
Oh,
all the time.
Yeah. It brings it out, or it would have happened anyway?
I don't know. I don't know what brings it out. So the joke I always say in my shows is some call me a mystic, some call me a mind reader. I'm not a medium. I'm a large. I pat my belly. And the truth in that is a medium is someone who communicates with spirits. I can communicate with spirits, but I've almost never heard anything back. Like I can't talk to anyone's great grandmother or anything like that. That said, I have learned things like pendulums and spirit bottles where, like, if there is something in the room that, you know, we can use this to find out. So the first thing that happened to me at the Maxwell was a few years ago. My wife and I stayed there for her birthday one year, and we were the only ones in the building. It was in the middle of the week, and so it was like, oh my gosh. So she went to bed early. She's an early bird. I'm a night owl. And I was in the ballroom where we do the shows, which is right over the speakeasy where Dr. Maxwell did all of his, we'll just say for now, his unnecessary surgeries back in the day. And so so I'm sitting there reading my book. I stand up and I look in the mirror over the fireplace, and I see someone standing over my left shoulder. And I turn around to see who it is. No one is there. And I turn back and look in the mirror, and no one is there. Now, full disclosure, I had 5 old fashions that day. So it was either the spirits or the spirits, one or the other. Full disclosure.
Combination of both.
That said, weird coincidences happen in my shows all the time. I've had people.
Something.
Okay. I didn't scare him off too bad with that story. Okay, all right.
He went to go check on that lady.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So other weird things happen there all the time. Weird coincidences happen all the time there. People running into each other who haven't seen each other in years, and they came separately. Like that happens all the time at my shows. One bulb in the chandelier will just flicker when like there's like when you can just feel like the shift in the room, like energetically, you know, like when I'm telling a story or when someone's having like a more emotional moment, like that light bulb will just go, you know, just like they've tried to fix it several times, just one bulb in the chandelier. They have no idea why it does that. Yeah, so and I mean, do I have stories like that? I have other stories from other places, of course, but like at the Maxwell, those are like the biggest things. And I try to incorporate that into the show and leave opportunity for things to happen. Again, with things like pendulums, that's another good example. Pendulums, spirit bottles, things where it's like, yeah, there's not a trick to it. If you hold a pendulum and if you concentrate and work with it, you can get it to move the way you want. And you can use it to ask questions or answer questions.
Yeah.
So I'm incorporating a lot of that into the show as well. But the other thing that I'm really trying to focus on is making sure when I put those things in, it makes sense with the overall story for the show. And so that so that if we get worst case scenario, basically, if we get nothing, if no one, no one senses anything, or there's no, activity really, it still makes sense with the show and I'm able to move on to the next thing. That's probably the hardest thing about it is, leaving. But I think that's why I have more unusual things happening in my shows all the time. Like I'll pick up on a name and it's not the name the person on stage is thinking of. It turns out it's the person they're with. It's their middle name. Stuff like that happens all the time in the show. And part of it is because I remain open to it. I think a lot of people, they're just not looking for it. I mean, Roald Dahl said it best. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes said it best too. How'd you find that? Because I was looking for it. I think a lot of miraculous things do happen every single day. Most people just brush it off as just a coincidence, which makes me go, well, that's more disturbing. The idea that no one or nothing is pulling the strings to make this stuff happen is ultimately more mysterious. And again, that's really what I'm trying to invoke in my work.
I like that. I 100% believe that. I feel like a lot more people have experiences. They just don't they don't even notice. They're just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. And it's not really the case, which is weird, and then whoever haunts them for the rest of their life, they're trying to I give up on this person. What I was going to ask, you mentioned spoon bending. So I heard so you did a friend of mine's podcast, Dairyland Frights, John, right?
Yeah.
And
I love John.
And I think you mentioned on there that you did that as a kid, or
yeah. So I talk about it in my shows. So there's spoon bending. There's different schools of spoon bending. Weirdly, there's the more poltergeist, playful spirit, energy kind of thing. There's the more, for lack of a better term, 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃 approach, where it's like you can, you learn to do it kind of on command and such. And then there's the say bend a lot and keep trying to bend it until it does. Which, I think as someone who can actually do it, the people who will sell you a $3,000 course and then tell you to just focus your energy on it and then just bend it, I feel a little dubious about that ethically, personally, because I'm not doing that. I'm holding it flat on my hand or out in front of me or even in other people's hands. It's something I don't do every show. I do it at the Maxwell Mansion. I do it in those shows usually. When people book me, it is something I'll be completely honest about this. I charge extra for it, so I don't have to do it all the time, because it is one of the things that will just, not even drain me. It just won't be as effective the more I do it. And I don't want to do it so much it ceases to be special for the people I'm doing it for too. Yeah. So there's, but people are encouraged to bring spoons to the shows, and I work with some of them. Some spoons bend, some don't. I think I know why. I have my theories, but even I'm not totally sure.
I was gonna ask, how did you find yourself even doing that in the beginning?
It just started happening as a kid. After a couple weeks of my mom going, stop bending my spoons. These are my nice spoons. And I'm like, well, what's going on here? So I went to the library, read about 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃, and so I started doing it on purpose, trying it out on purpose and doing it for real. There's been lots of magicians will be really mad at me for saying this. I've ticked off magicians a lot over the years, because I'll talk about how they fake stuff, which is weird. They weren't upset when Houdini did it when he was alive, or maybe they were, I don't know. But they do. There are magicians' props that are basically heat sensitive.
Yeah.
Silverware.
Easy and stuff.
Yeah. And I'm not using those. You can bring your own. I buy all my spoons from Target. I'm, again, people bring me their spoons all the time. I don't want to go all like, I can do, there's a great clip of Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry back when they used to do a comedy show together on the BBC. And there's one where Hugh Laurie is pretending to be like an 𝗟𝗏𝗘𝗀 type psychic. And I just thought of the line like, I can do anything with a spoon. You give me a spoon, I will give you the whole world. And like just making these ridiculous out there claims and stuff. But yeah, and I think that's the thing I love about doing stuff like that too, is there are people who will come up to me. This has happened a couple times over the years. Someone will come up to me after a show going, okay, the mind reading, it's got to be a trick to that. Maybe you research people, maybe it's body language, but the spoon thing, is that like energy? Is that this? Is that? And then same show, just a different person comes up to me afterwards going, okay, I know the spoon bending. It's got to be like a special spoon, or maybe you bent it when we weren't looking. But the mind reading stuff, is that like something you were born with? And again, that's why I try to make it clear. I don't want anyone thinking, like if someone asks like, oh, are you reading body language using NLP or something? Like, no, what I'm doing is an art, not a science. Like I'm very upfront about that. But at the same time, like weird stuff happens in art all the time. Weird connections, artists talk all the time about, I don't know where it came from. It just flowed through me. I mean, that sounds like channeling. That sounds like, a lot of these kinds of things. And maybe we're just, in this weird, gray area where as a culture or species, whatever, where we're learning about the similarities and differences. I've been calling it for the last few years the secularization of spirituality, because like growing up, like if someone had a deck of tarot cards, it was like, oh my God, get them away from me. Those are of the, and now it's like, there's tarot cards and people are like, I don't know if I believe them or not. They're just cheaper than a therapist. And like, so like there's this, and I think that's wonderful that there's people, all over, people who are loving it, people who get something spiritual out of it, people who don't believe there's anything spiritual in it, but find some meaning in it still. I think that's great. I think the fact that we're able to all kind of, we're all able to get there in our own ways. So I think that's a pretty beautiful.
That's cool. Yeah, I like eventually, like, and it goes back down to like, I guess the fear that people had at the beginning of stuff that they just don't know or don't understand, and then the more they see it, they're like, oh, it's not that bad, and okay, I get that, and just you're more open to stuff.
I have a hot take. I have a hot take on this. 99.99999% of people who are scared of things like Ouija boards, tarot, all this kind of stuff. Now, again, not to say these things aren't meaningful and powerful, spiritually, emotionally, on all those levels. Not taking that away from any of these, powerful oracles or paranormal phenomena or anything. But the people who are the most like, no, it's demons. I don't know. I don't want to do anything. I don't want anything to do with it. They're the people who have done not just the least amount of research, they have done negative research. It's not something that they have come to on their own. I have no problem with anyone's beliefs that they've come to from their own research, their own beliefs, their own worldview, all of that. The people who respond in fear and negativity, again, 99.99999 times are doing that because that's what they've been told to believe. Not because they've actually learned about it and done the research themselves. They're just repeating what their pastor or parent or whoever, spiritual leader, friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, said. I've never had anyone. Do we have positive and negative experiences with this stuff? Yes. Do I have very positive people I know who have still feel they've had negative entities and all that kind of stuff? Yes, but they also don't feel like that negative entity is following them around everywhere they go. It's like no, like eventually it's like maybe you're the negative entity. Maybe the calls are coming from inside the house because I'll tell you, I a negative entity is only going to attach itself to a negative person. So like I'm not too much of a. I do believe in manifestation up to a point. I'm not the biggest fan of the book The Secret personally. I learned some great stuff from that book, but I feel like she takes it a little too, I don't even want to say too far, just too literal, I think, in some ways. Again, that's just me personally. 1 million copies sold, she's probably more right than me. But I do believe that, like, yeah, like, again, those people, it's all like, oh, a negative entity is attached to you. Are you sure? I've been with you for 5 minutes, lady, and I can't wait to get rid of you. Like, are you sure? Are you sure they have found you so fascinating that they left whatever haunted location they were in and went home with you? Again, not to say you can't take on negativity everywhere you go, if you are a negative person, but if someone has actually, like, whenever someone says, "Oh my gosh, Ouija boards," or "Oh, this is of the devil," I always go, "Oh, where'd you read that? Where did you read that?" And here's the other superpower I have. I went to 12 years of Baptist school. I guarantee I've read the Bible more than them. So when I point out it was the Magi from the East that sought his star, who were astrologers and astronomers, yeah, that's when they stopped talking.
No.
It was the literal magicians who were the first to seek him out. But, I'll get down off of that ladder now. Okay, here we go.
Very good. I agree with you there. I 100% like, just negative brings on negative, same as positive brings on positive. Same tactic, not the same, I'm not going to say tactic, but it's the same thing. Even when we, as investigators, going into a house to investigate, if you are harassing and condescending to spirit, this and that, oh, do this like a, I want to say bullying, just being like an asshole, you're going to get either shit results or that type of negativity back at you. And if you're not like that, you're respectful to spirit, show them respect. So, decent questions or, just something good, you're going to get a positive experience back. I mean, that's just how it
turns out the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. Doesn't say anyone, doesn't say alive, doesn't say people, doesn't say just others, just all of it. Treat them the way you want to be treated. And, well, they did this. Well, they did. Yeah, it's hard. That's what makes it the golden rule. It's simple, but it's not always easy. And I think a big part of it too is, like, people, again, when you talk about things like manifestation, yes, there are, of course, people born in terrible situations and at every point in human history all around the world, yes, there's a huge geolocation and genetic lottery that none of us have any real power over. However, in almost all of those situations, when you hear about stories of people who grew up with, like, the harshest of upbringings or whatever, again, not always, but
we manifested joy.
We manifest. Yes, yes.
Hi, I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I said, let's bring in joy, and then joy will happen.
Hey, boom, here I am. He's the legit.
Yes, exactly. But so what I was going to say was, again, even in those situations when they talk about what you have control over, what can I do? Well, there's all the stuff I don't have control over. What can I do in my own time? Let's work on that. Can I bring my own joy into the world until joy joins us here? Here's my favorite joke about manifestation. Here's my favorite joke about manifestation. A guy comes into a bar, sets down a bag, takes out a tiny piano, puts it down, and turns the bag on side. Out walks this man who's about a foot tall, sits down at the tiny piano, and starts playing this beautiful piano music. The bartender says, "Wow, that's great. How'd you get that?" And the guy says, "Oh, I read this book on manifestation." So the bartender sits down, goes to the end of the bar, reads the whole thing, closes it up, comes to the end of the bar and goes, "Okay, I'm going to speak into the universe. I'm going to manifest $1 million." All of a sudden, the floor rumbles and the one wall caves down, and there's a stampede of all these bucks going by outside. And the guy goes, "This manifestation stuff is bunk." The other guy goes, "You got to be specific. You think I tried to manifest a 12-inch pianist?" Well, yeah. So be yeah. So.
No, that was good. That was good.
Joe, I'm Joey. This is Joey.
Yes. That's okay. My wife calls me Joey, so this is great. Always love to meet another Joey.
I love it.
So hot.
You guys had a good trip?
Yes.
Very hot. I'm getting tired of leaving in the summertime. I'll tell you that right now.
It's burning over there.
From a weekend to weekend to hot weekends, I'm over it. But I had a good time. Yeah.
All right.
15 degrees.
Joe, so I wanted to ask, so getting into that, being America's greatest mind reader, is that the same as, so I know you're not a medium, you're a large, but would you consider yourself psychic, or is it something different?
So I'll be completely honest here. I don't use the label psychic professionally for a couple of reasons. One, just where we're at in the culture and all that. A lot of people, when they're seeking out a psychic, they are specifically seeking a medium. They're not seeking even a tarot, like even someone who just reads tarot or someone who just reads palms will, still gets asked, "Oh, can you," when that has nothing to do with their gifts or what they've learned or any of that.
Yeah.
It's just where people are at. So that's one reason. Another reason is I truly believe we're all psychic. Like, to me, and this is not a line, this isn't like, for me, calling myself psychic would be like calling myself human. Like, I think we all have some kind of sense, some kind of ability, some kind of intuition, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to, I think we're all special in our own ways. I think we all have our own gift. The best way to kind of describe it is, I know, my last name is Diamond, so, make a gemstone analogy. But let's say someone, who's like empathic or, telepathy, reading minds, knowing what someone's thinking or feeling. Let's say that's a diamond. But speaking with spirits and communing with spirits, someone who's a medium, let's say that's a diamond. That ruby may only be this big, but it may have been fully polished when it came out of the earth. Maybe it wasn't for someone else. They had to work at it a little longer to polish it and chip away the chaff and all that. However, and maybe someone else has an emerald. That's, half, the smallest out of all of us, but the brightest, shines the brightest and could theoretically be more valuable than all. Again, this isn't a perfect analogy, but it's the best I kind of thought of.
Yeah.
The big thing for me is it doesn't matter how much I polish my diamond, it's not going to become someone else's ruby. I can't look at someone who has a really good gift for music, for example. I think spiritual gifts is what a lot of people would say talents. I genuinely believe I could put in the same amount of minutes into the guitar that Keith Richards did, and I will never be as good as Keith Richards. In 2 or 3 lifetimes, if that's not my gem, if that's not my talent. And I shouldn't be mad. I think that's the other thing too. I think a lot of people look at everyone else's gems and talents and they compare. and I get stuck in this too. Rather than working on our own thing and bringing out our own shine, and it might be harder. It might, for the us diamonds, we need a little more pressure. Some people might, again, they might need to be chipped out of the rock a little bit more. But we should all work with, our gifts and what we have. A big part of it is learning about ourselves. And, you can learn about yourself by looking how others have used their gifts, for sure. But I feel like saying psychic means like I'm something that the audience, or again, my audience or my guests, however you want to phrase it, I don't want to seem like, I'm different. I'm not the guru on the hill. Like, I think we all have our gifts, and that's another big part of what I try to explore in a lot of my work is like, a lot of us just don't trust our intuition sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
We're all different. No two diamonds are the same.
Yep, exactly. I would definitely say I'm intuitive. And I think some people are more intuitive than others. And those of us who are intuitive, we have good days and we have not so good days, But like, just because, I'm going to show my age a little bit here. Just because Sammy Sosa didn't hit a home run every time he went to the bat didn't mean he wasn't talented, Like, whenever someone says there's no scientific evidence for, the paranormal, my two things are always like, well, that means it's not normal. If there were a way to scientifically test it, it ceased to be para and just be normal, because that's how words work. But also, you can't test it in a lab. Well, you can't test your all-time favorite Super Bowl winning team in a lab. You can't. I can't test the love for my not yet. Oh, yeah, exactly. Maybe, but like I can't test the love I have for my wife in a lab yet.
Yeah.
But like so I think like just because there's not, that's again why I say it's an art. It's an art, not a science. Because if there were, to me, trying to study things again like intuition and telepathy and all that, I appreciate the attempt up until now, but it's to me it's just studying statistics at that point. Like in my opinion, there's almost like when you look back at all like the original J.B. Ryan ESP experiments, like there was a moment I was looking at it going, oh my God, this is just fantasy football drafts. Oh, okay, here we go. This is all we figured out back then. And, that could be fun. That could be fun for sure. But also, not going to be a while till we can contain it in a laboratory or,
Ever, if ever.
Yeah, if ever.
Yeah.
With you doing your shows and like interacting with people, I would say actually, is there one that you find stands out more than others as far as like, because I like you, I feel everybody has the abilities. It's just if they recognize it and which one stands out to them more, and then they kind of like hone into on that. So like, say like if you're seeing something like a clairvoyance or like a different clair or clairaudience where you would maybe not hear the word, but maybe sometimes see the word written out in your mind, and then you go on with that. You don't second guess yourself. You just spit that one out. Like, is there something that stands out to you, or maybe just the gut feeling itself?
So I can actually show you if you'd like. You all would like. So this is so I do this in my live shows, but I've been doing this a lot over Zoom and virtually. Now we'll do this with all of you. We'll also do it with all of the listeners as well. So anyone watching live in the YouTube live chat, I've got pulled up down here. But if people are watching or listening to the recording after the fact, play along and we'll still try this out. So I will send a thought from my mind to all of you. Now, we have a couple of you on here in the chat. Don't type out your answers yet. Everyone here, don't say your answers out loud. Even people listening to this after the fact, don't say your answers out loud yet in case you're with someone else. And don't think about it too much. Go with whoever comes to you naturally. Intuition is knowing without knowing is the best way to put it. So, and I'm going to make it simple. I'm not going to think of anything too obscure. I'm going to think of a memory from my past that I think a lot of people here would connect with. And I will project it out to everyone. We'll see how many of you receive the psychic transmissions. So don't say anything out loud just yet. If you're watching the video, look me in the eyes. If you're just listening, just clear your mind for a moment, and everyone together take a deep breath and exhale, or you'll suffocate. Very good. All right, now again, here's where I'm going to start sending it out. So I'll take a deep breath. And as you exhale, just get in your mind a number from 1 to 10. Lock it in your mind. Don't change it. Remember that number. All right, we'll do it again. Again, I'll keep it simple. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, get in your mind a direction on a compass. Lock it in your mind. Don't change it. Remember the direction. All right, this last one's going to be the most difficult. This time I want everyone to think of 2 simple geometric shapes, one inside the other, like a square inside of a rectangle. Don't pick those. I just said them, and we're all in rectangles right now anyway. So take a deep breath. Exhale. Remember those 2 shapes. All right, I'm curious to see how everyone did. So let me explain the memory. I was actually thinking on my first day of senior year in school. So, I figured that would be pretty common for everyone here, first day of school kind of thing. And I couldn't find geometry class. So I asked someone where it was, and they said it was on the north side of the building. So, if you're on camera right now, put your hand up just for now, so I can see how many people got it. Who got north so far?
So I got the second one. I didn't get the first one.
Okay, interesting. Okay, all right. So two out of the 4. So that's already more than 25%. That's good.
You said for north, right?
Yeah, that was north. The first one I sent was north. When I got to the classroom, I noticed there were 7 students. So if you thought of 7 before you changed your mind to something else, put your hand up for that. Okay, we got you. Okay. Usually people change their mind to 3 when they don't think about it too quickly, or if they think about it too much. When I got to the classroom, the teacher had drawn on the chalkboard a circle and a triangle. Any of you get either of those? You got those? You got those?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
So everyone got at least 2. Great. And in the chat, let us know how many you got. If you got 2, if you got all 3. I'm curious if anyone in the chat got all 3. Now, of course, people who get all 3, these are the most intuitive and empathic, of course. I find people who get only 1 or 2. That's totally fine. You got 2 out of the 3. That's great. I find these people are really the best at kind of holding 2 opposing ideas in their head, which is kind of where this comes from. Like, oh, this is what I thought of, but oh, is that right? Or is that what everyone thinks of? It's kind of that back and forth that, which is, to be honest, that's what we need. Yeah. And for people who got none of it right, these are the people who, when they thought of, when I asked for 2 simple geometric objects, they'll think of something like a star inside of a dodecahedron, because to them, those are simple geometric shapes.
Oh, no. Yeah.
These people who get none of them right typically are the best at sending information rather than receiving, rather than being open to other people's ideas and stuff. So these are the kinds of, I think these are the kinds of people who do tend to be the most creative. Ironically, I think our biggest artists and our biggest scientists, ironically, are in this group that gets nothing wrong, or nothing right, I should say. And the groups that get everything right or everything spot on. And even people who get northwest or northeast, I still technically kind of count that, but people who go for those, again, tend to be very specific, who are like, nope, that wasn't north. So, and again, that's the thing for me, is I do feel like even when I'm wrong, there's this reason why I'm picking up on what I'm picking up on. So, here, I can give you another example real quick here. Let me grab, so here, I've got some of these business cards here. Here, I'll show you. I haven't written anything on them yet, but here. So Joey, you got 2 out of the 3. I think all of you got at least 2 out of the 3. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'll tell you what. I'll do this. I'll do all 3 of these. I'll do another kind of guided visualization here. I'll start with you, Joey. I want you to imagine. So I'm just going to write something on each one of these cards. I'll leave these all up here in frame too, so that way, because the problem with doing this over Zoom is, even if I was being honest, if I just put it down here, someone might think, oh, he's got 1 million cards on his desk. And easier to just do this rather than take my camera off and show all this. So I'll keep all these up here. Joey, I want you to imagine we go into a library, okay? And this library has one wall that's floor to ceiling, all the way to each end. You know, it just seems super massive, almost like out of a dream. It's almost never ending. You walk up and down. I'm going to imagine I see a book cover that jumps out at me. And we'll see if anyone else. People can type in their guesses for this if they want in a moment. I'll set the pencil down. I'll move this behind the others so you can't see it, but I can't change my mind, Joey. I'm going to imagine I'm reaching out and I'm taking a book off the shelf. What color is the book cover in your imagination, Joey?
Oh, you want me to say it out loud?
Yeah.
Red.
Like a light red or a dark red?
Like a wine.
Like a darker.
Okay, perfect. No, that's perfect. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm gonna imagine I flip through the book, and Joy, I'm going to settle on a page number. Don't think of one yet. Okay, don't say anything. I'm gonna write this. Down here. All right. Again, I'll put it behind the others so you can't see it and I can't change my mind. Joy, in my mind, as I was writing that down, I wrote down a page number.
Okay.
I settled on a 2-digit page number. Both digits are different. What's the page number?
25? I don't know. I got 25.
25?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Now I'll do this with Jen and Armando. I'm going to imagine I look up and down the page at all the different words. Let me write something down here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna cross that out. I'll write this instead. I think this will be better. Again, I'll put it behind the others so you can't see it and I can't change my mind. Okay, so it's right there. Now, Jen and Mondo, we'll see if you get the same. Maybe you'll get 2 different things. I'm going to try and project it to both of you. As quick as you can. We'll start with you, Jen. Say out loud a verb, an action, something you could do right now. Say it.
Run.
What was it?
Run.
Did you get anything, Mondo? Did you get something different?
I had a different action. I said jump.
Perfect. Okay, because I that was my fault. You'll see what I mean in a moment. Let me show you. So I asked you before, Joey, about the kind of red, because I wrote down a wine burgundy. So I was hoping you would say something more like a dark red, but when you said wine, I was like, I'll take it. I did write down 25, Joy. You nailed that. And Jen and Mondo, I screwed this up by doing this twice because I said I'll cross this out and write down something different. First, I wrote down run, and then I wrote down jump. So you...
What the hell? Oh, I love this. Can we do this all the time? No.
Yeah, with the right person, yes. You need someone who can. You need someone who's a good sender and receiver. With a lot of this. So yeah. So there we go. All right. Yeah. So I'm curious if anyone else. Looks like a bunch of people in the chat got 2 or 3. Wondering if anyone else got any of these. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, if you got these right too. In the chat or in the recording, definitely let us know for sure.
That'd be funny. Did you guys play along in the chat? Please let us know.
Yeah.
That's cool. This is so fun.
Yeah. So that's
we're only working
so that's
4 hours of 3 hours of sleep. So I mean,
no, that's okay. That is okay.
Joe, I'm sorry to interrupt you. By any chance, was that I don't know why the word Britannica came in my mind, and that was before you asked us.
Maybe that's what he was thinking.
And I whispered it to you, so that way you know that's what I was thinking. Is that the book by any chance that you were thinking of? Like an Encyclopedia Britannica.
So technically, when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about like the area of my library where those books would be, like the different Britannicas and encyclopedias. I'll personally give that to you. Absolutely. absolutely. For sure. But yeah, again, like that's the other downside with this stuff too. Like I always coming up with ways to like, show why, show that we were right, not just saying, "Yep, that's correct." That's the tough thing with a lot of this.
Shannon says she got 2. Somebody in the chat says she actually
got 2 of them. Great. So let me try this out. Joy, do you have a calculator nearby? It's okay if not.
I do have my phone, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I have so we were talking before about a bunch of different paranormal things, and one of the things I didn't get into was parallel universes, these alternate realities.
Oh.
And my favorite kind of parallel universe to think about is like where everything's the same but the opposite.
Right.
Like in this parallel universe, maybe. Yeah, maybe when you, like, for example, maybe I'm where you live and you're in the Midwest, maybe, we're all in the same conversation, just it's a little different. Or reverse. In this parallel universe, when you do laundry, you don't lose a sock, you gain a sock, maybe that's what the other sock goes, who knows? When you go up to like a crosswalk in that parallel universe and you push that little button, in that parallel universe, that button actually does something. That's what I always think. Right? When it's like, does this do anything? So we're going to use this as a sort of thought experiment. Joy, you're going to write down a 3-digit number. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, write down a 3-digit number. The only rule is don't do any zeros. You'll see why in a moment. And don't do the same number over and over again. You just do 1, 1, 1, 1. It's not going to be fun for this. And also it wouldn't work with what we're about to do, which will make sense in a moment.
So as long as it's not it's 1, 1, 1, 1 or 2, 2, 2, it could be.
Yeah, as long as all 3 digits are different and there's no zero, just make it it can be a random 3-digit number. It can be one you start with. It's up to you.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's the thing. In this parallel universe, the other you would have written down those same 3 numbers but reversed, right?
Uh-huh.
So do that for me now. So if, for example, you wrote down 1, 2, 3, write down 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Have you done that?
I did.
Think about this for a moment. This is probably the first time in both of your lives that you and your doppelganger have been completely in sync.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Right? It's weird to think about because they would have written down the opposite, but then reversed it and be looking at the same thing as you. Right?
Right.
Kind of a weird thing. So be honest, would if I gave you the choice between adding and subtracting, you'd probably choose adding. Am I correct?
Depends what it is.
Depends, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you what then, let's subtract them. So subtract the lower number from the higher number. Again, don't tell me the total. You can use your calculator if you do this. You need to subtract the lower from the highest, otherwise you'll get a negative number, which is fine. It'll still be fine for this, but it just confuses people sometimes.
Okay. So
all right.
Okay.
All right. So you have the final answer?
Yes. Oh, you want me to subtract the whole thing?
Yeah. Subtract the lowest number, lower number from the higher number. And let me know when you have the answer. So go ahead. Yeah. So again, if you wrote down like 1, 2, 3, you'd reverse it with 3, 2, 1, and you'd do 3, 2, 1 minus 1, 2, 3.
No,
okay, you've done that? Okay.
The higher number. Okay, the higher number might. Okay, the reverse. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Well, see, the number I originally thought about is lower than the number that I'm reversing.
No, that's okay. Then put that one on top and reverse and subtract it from the original. Then.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Did we stay in again? Otherwise, you would just go into the negatives, which is still fine, but that's fine. Are we still working with a 3-digit number? Or did we get down to 2?
3 digits still.
Still have a 3-digit number. Okay. Look at the first digit for me.
Okay.
And it's going to be a little confusing. I need you to look right at your camera, not at your screen, but right at your camera. Okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, be honest. Is the first digit 2?
Oh my God.
Yeah?
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I just see. I know you guys went dark. Oh
Because
shit!
yeah, you guys did go dark there.
Oh, we lost
Are
Jen.
they? Oh, maybe they're frozen.
Wait,
They
yeah.
must have just lost power. Our brain powers were too high.
I know.
All right, I'll tell you what. Think of I'll tell you what, Joey. Think of either one of those two, the two remaining numbers. So the first digit's 2. Think of either one of the last 2 digits. Got one? He looked right at the camera. 987654321. Okay, you didn't mean to confuse me, but I think you were kind of bouncing back and forth a bit, even up until that moment. I think you started to settle on the 9, went back to the 7, then back to the 9. So I think it's 297. Is that it? Is that it? Yeah.
What the hell?
Yes. There we go.
That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened in your mind too. Yeah.
I was looking at him, and then last minute I was like 9 in my brain.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! If you get the last one, I'm gonna freaking
He did
fall on the
already.
floor. No, there's.
He did. He said 297.
Did you say
Yeah.
297?
I said 297. Yeah. Yeah.
I got goosebumps.
Here, you know what? Here, let's just so again people don't think you're just playing along with me. Here, let me. I'm gonna write down one more thing here. Yeah, I'll toss it down. Again, the original, the first 3-digit number that you chose before you subtracted and did all that. Tell everyone watching what the first 3-digit number you decided on was.
619.
There's a bit of a lag on my end. It was 61 what?
No, 619.
He said, is that the first number?
619. Okay. Again, since I nailed it before, hopefully you won't hate me for getting them out of order. But I wrote down 691.
Oh,
So I hope you won't. Okay. I hope
Yeah.
there we go. All right.
You just got the 9 and the 1 mixed up.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'll take it. There we go. Here, hang on. Let me grab the pencil back. Here, I'll just do one of these. There we go. See, nailed it. Totally nailed it. Like totally nailed it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Perfect. That's freaking perfect.
Yes, exactly. So, but actually, this is a perfect example of how this goes too, because even when I'm wrong, if some people would be like, "Oh no, you're wrong," but then when we actually look at it, it's like, "Oh no, we got the digits reversed or something." Even when I'm wrong, it makes sense why I'm getting what I'm getting. That's why I always say this is an art, not a science. So,
That's wild. That is crazy. That's so awesome. That's really cool.
Science.
Got it. Okay.
And we're back.
She's back.
Yay.
Perfect.
I was watching on the phone.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
That's the second time my car was run out. That's what kind of messed up the air.
Is it raining over there?
No, but it looks like shit. It looks really bad. I mean, it's like totally dark outside, but it's been like that all day and thundering, lightning, and I mean, it's not even pouring. I would expect it to be pouring for the lights to go out like that. But
Wow.
okay.
So is that where you would say what you were doing is part of your psychic?
That's definitely more intuitive. There is some psychology with it, for sure. There are times where, for lack of a better term, I'm playing the odds, or one of the things I was talking with Jen and Mondo about earlier is a lot of the things we work on with that we've done with AI is the kinds of things people tend to think of. Like, for example, if I were to ask you to just name a card, most people would say Ace of Spades or Queen of Hearts out of like a deck of cards. So, and what's funny is when you ask people to think of a card, again, they tend to think of like those bright colored cards, like the Queen of Hearts,
Common.
Hearts, that's a very common one. Yeah. So these kinds of almost like archetypes, I guess. Like here, if I've got a deck of cards here, so knowing that, now here's a way I use that to my advantage. If someone says that they're skeptical, or I can tell they're going to be a bit of a jerk. I almost always leave a joker in my deck, because if I say, here, take the deck, take out a card you think I couldn't possibly know, I know they're going to think they're being clever by taking out the joker. And so I know it's a pretty good, again, that's not intuitive, but in the probability and the psychology of it, that's the case. Now, in your case, Jen, again, if I were to ask you, so I mentioned before about when people think of a card, they think of like the ace of spades. So in a moment when I ask you to think of a card, don't think of an ace or a spade. Or do they tend to think of, again, one of those bright cards, like the Queen of Hearts, kind of thing, the big bright picture cards, the high numbers, that kind of stuff. So, so I just want you to think of a card, and we'll see. We got pretty good before with everything. I'm curious. If this doesn't work, we'll try something else. I'm curious. People in the chat can comment what they think the card is too. But Jen, what do you think?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
4 of hearts.
4 of hearts. Okay. Okay. It is an even number. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. But again, I kind of put you on the spot with that. I put you on the spot, and I just pulled a random card in that case. So, and again, but the other thing too is like, this part of this too is like, we don't have any connection to the 2 of clubs, right? But 4 of hearts, what you said, that tells me a lot about you. So in cartomancy, 4 of hearts, 4 is like the 4 corners of a foundation of a house, and hearts is emotion. So this tells me about you. Your foundation is your emotions. It is your heart. You know, if you have to make things right in your heart before you make things right with other people. Before you make things right in the material, you need to make things right in the immaterial. And that's just the kind of person you are. So that's a bit more of where I'm at, rather than like, because again, just think of a card or guess it, or like make you say the card I want you to. That's the kind of thing that a lot of these people who like want to talk about, like NLP, making people pick what they want and those kinds of icky things. That's the stuff I don't love. And it is more about, again, just kind of trusting your own gut and also collaborating. So I'll tell you what, let's do this again. Here, this time I'll turn 1 over. There we go. So it's facing the opposite way. All right, it's facing the opposite way in the deck. I'll keep the whole deck up here. Now, Jen, this time don't say it out loud. This time just think of any card. Got one?
Yes.
Okay. Just think about it. It'd be amazing if the card you thought of was the one turned over in here, right? The only card, all the cards facing one way, your card being the only one reversed. That'd be pretty amazing, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting the psychic sense. The card you're thinking of does not match the one I turned over.
Probably.
So that's it, everyone. Thanks for having me on the show. No, I'm kidding. No, here's the thing, Jen. Here's the thing, Jen. I actually think you're close. I actually think we're even closer than before. Okay. So you know how there's like the 4 suits. There's the 2 red ones, hearts and diamonds, and the 2 black ones, spades and clubs. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I actually think we got the color right this time. I think we got the color right, but the suit is wrong. Okay. So in your mind, change to the other suit. Have you done that?
Yes.
Okay. So again, if you're thinking of one of the red cards, you're thinking of a heart, switch to a diamond, vice versa. If you're thinking of a black card, think of a spade, switch to a club, that kind of thing. Okay. So you've done that in your mind. Yes.
You want me to think of the wrong suit? So
yes, the wrong suit. Switch to the other suit. Yes. So there's the 2. Yes. Keep the color. I think you got the color right. Okay. And you got the color right. So there's the spade and the club that are black, and then the heart and the diamond that are red. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you've done that. Okay. All right. You'll see why I'm having you do this, because I don't want anyone in the chat or anyone listening later to think like I got any clues from this. Or I gave you any clues. So here's the thing. Same thing with the value. I actually think you're close. I think you're only off by 1. But you tell us, do you think you need to go up 1 or down 1? So there's like the ace, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jack would count as 11. Queen would be 12. King would be 13. Do you think you need to add one or subtract one?
Add.
Add? I think you're right. So do that. You've done all that in your mind, yes? I think that's the card that matches in here. So forget the original card you thought of. Tell us this new card you just created once you swapped the suit and added one.
10 of whatever the hell that is.
Clubs.
10 of clubs. Okay, good. Okay, so again, as I said, I'll keep these all in frame. You can see they really are all facing the same way, except for this one right here. You can see that is the only card in the entire deck turned over. You can see them all, including the 9 of spades, the cards you originally thought of. But if you had stuck with it, it wouldn't have worked because I have the 10 of clubs here.
Out of hell!
Oh my god! Doing this.
So again, a big part of it is, helping, working together.
Yeah.
That said, when we make those intuitive leaps and they hit, great. And if they're a little off, or if I sense it's a little off with someone, we can work on it together. Or we can just, in the case of this, just be like, okay, it's 691 instead of 619, close enough. So,
I write it down as I'm doing it.
Oh yeah, awesome. Awesome. I want to do one last paranormal thing with all the listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
okay, so
the question I'm going to ask you before we wrap up, that it's something that you had mentioned on John's show, which I wanted you to mention here because I thought it was really nice. So
sure. Let's go into that, and then we'll wrap up with this as the grand finale that everyone can, even the listeners and those watching, can take part in.
Perfect. So so this was something I was going to close on. So you had mentioned John had asked you something, and he would ask you what ritual you would do before each show, right? And you had talked about, I guess, the audience at that point, like something you would do, and you're thinking of the audience. So do you have something that you would do or prep for each show to get into this?
Yes, I always give myself kind of 3 questions. I've got these written down on a card. Anyone who does any kind of speaking or presenting, a podcast, whatever, I think this is useful to more people than it isn't. The first one, and this is something I unfortunately need to tell myself more and more as I get older, which is have fun. It's very easy, when you take your passions and they become such a big part of your, for lack of a better term, not even job, vocation, career, all of that. Between all the emails and, scheduling things with people and all that, and the drives to all this stuff, that stuff can really start to feel like not the fun part. So before the show, I try to not think about however long it took to get there or how much of a pain this was or this or that. Just have fun. That's the whole. There are so many easier ways to make a living. If I were just doing this to pay my bills, I'd be an idiot, because there's so many easier jobs out there. So that's the first thing. Remember to have fun. The second thing I try to remember is tonight doesn't really matter. It does matter for the audience and everything else. But so I don't get too wrapped up in it in my own head. I think, tonight, trust the process, trust the literal, artistic or creative process, because the performer, presenter, entertainer, artist, whoever that I'm going to be in 5 years, that matters more than if I flub a line here or there tonight, or if I get, again, rather than I would be kicking myself for this for easily a day when I was first starting out. But now it's just did we have fun? I'd rather get all of this wrong, but we have the time of our lives. And part of the way that allows me to have fun with is that if it doesn't work, well, that's okay. That informs the person I'm going to be 5 years from 5 years ago, you had told me I'd be making part of my living all around the world via Zoom and virtual shows, you know, for companies, podcasts, TV shows, all this stuff. Like, that sounds crazy, but in a post-2020 world, this is commonplace now. So trust the process and who you are in 5 years. You know, in many ways, that or who you're going to be in 5 years, that's more important. And then to kind of bring it back down to the present, I try to remind myself. There was my one of my theater directors in college. He got us together and told us, he's like, "Hey, it was Christmas Carol. It was the only time I was like the lead in something, mostly because it was the only role that had no singing, because I can't sing to save my life." But he told all of us, like, yes, everyone out there has probably read or seen a movie of the Christmas Carol, but there's people in this audience who have never seen it live on stage before. It's their first time seeing a Christmas Carol live on stage and possibly ever. And for some people out there, unfortunately, it's going to be their last time seeing a Christmas Carol live and possibly ever. And especially, I lost my mom last year, but she was always in a good spirit, and she always said, "Hey, listen, you know, this is part of it, and you know, there's always going to be like we talked actually an awful lot about the last time she'd seen me, or the last time I'd see her, you know, not just performing, but the last time we'd see each other." And so, like, we just started treating each time like it was the last time. Like, let's have a blast, let's have a ball, because this might be it. And you know, not to make it too, you know, morbid before a show, but to just kind of again reel back in, like, hey, for some of these people, this is their first time seeing something like this. This is someone's first time tuning into a podcast like this live, or listening to it live because their friend in the chat sent it to them and said, "Hey, you gotta check this out. These hosts are really cool," or something. So those are like the three things I always try to remember. And then the fourth thing, this is a fairly new thing, but this is much more grounded. 92 beats per minute. Jimmy Carr, great comedian, he talked about how he would listen to songs that were 92 beats per minute before shows, because all the best speakers and like speech writers or speech givers, comedians, a lot of them will speak at 92 beats per minute. So the song Africa by Toto is 92 beats per minute. So right before I go on stage, I just do a quick little in my head. Bum, 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 bum. Like right before I go out, like as they're introducing me, like as they get to the last part of my introduction, I just have that in my head. So it keeps me. So if I feel like I'm going too fast or anything, I just bring my back to the beginning of Africa.
That's cool.
And not sing it because of copyright infringement and all of that.
I love that.
Yeah. Of course. All right, so let's do this paranormal. It's kind of like an imaginary paranormal investigation that we can all play along with. Now, what's cool about this too is, again, this should work not just with most people, but this should work with everyone as long as you follow our instructions. Again, this is the kind of thing that we've been feeding into AI machines and stuff. It works with everyone as long as you pay attention. If it doesn't work, listen to the replay, try again. You'll realize it does work. Real quick before someone says anything else, I hate to have to do this right now. Someone in the chat did say this guy is like 𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗻. Unfortunately, no. Oz is saying what he's doing is a science. We can get into the ethics and everything of all of that and all that, but no, he is very often using not techniques I'm using, but not the techniques he's claiming to be using either, unfortunately. And that's the big thing I do try to. Now, in many ways, you know, he's an entertainer, and that's all well and good, but also I don't want someone thinking like something like, you know, body language and eye movements and such can be like, you know, there's more to it than that. There's a lot more to it than that. Just, you know, I feel it's, you know, I don't want to knock another performer, entertainer, or anything like that. I think he's done amazing, cool stuff. I actually know someone who works for him, says he's a great and very nice guy. That said, just from an artistic standpoint, and also I think just my own personal ethics, I don't want anyone to have bad science from what I do. I'd rather we have a fun mystery and everything we talk about and be upfront that, yeah, sometimes I am using some psychology. I'd rather not explain how. I'd rather just not tell you how than make up something and lie to everyone and send you off in the wrong direction, or at worst with bad information. All that said, back to the fun interactive thing. This is going to really test everyone's imaginations. I want everyone to picture 3 imaginary creatures. Now, they might not be imaginary because they're cryptids. One is a cute little alien who's just arrived from a UFO, little guy, gray skin, gigantic head. The second creature is a ghost, Victorian era, life-size, very scary, Victorian rags. And the third is the Loch Ness Monster. Okay? So this would be, the size of a small dinosaur, fins, scales, all. Can you picture all of them in your minds?
Yes.
Okay. And everyone listening, even if this is a recording, picture those 3 in your mind. And in your mind, arrange your these creatures in order of size, with the little guy, the alien, on your left, the ghost in the middle, and the big gal, the Loch Ness Monster, Nessie, on your right. So they're all standing in a line facing you. I'm going to ask you to mix them up with just one move. In your mind, don't say it out loud. Grab either one on the far left or the far right and shove that one into the center between the other 2. So you've shifted just one of the imaginary creatures. Now's your choice. If you like the new arrangement, that's fine. But if you want, you can switch it back exactly the way it was 10 seconds ago. Don't tell me, don't tell anyone. It's your choice. Stop right there. Perfect. I'm now going to ask you to take whichever creature we'll say is on your left, whichever one that is, and in your mind, tell it to go away. And it does. It's gone. Disappeared. No longer a figment of your imagination. Have all of you pictured that? Good. So right now, you made a choice about the order of the creatures, and based on that order, one of them left. And I don't know about your choice of how to mix them and which one left. So I want you to take whatever the 2 remaining creatures you have in your mind, try picturing them perfectly, and mix them up. Mix them around, and then separate them out a little bit so that one is standing on your left, one is standing on your right. It's completely your choice. Looks like you've all done that. Perfect. And everyone in the chat looks like they've done that as well. Now listen carefully. If one of those creatures is the Loch Ness Monster, then have the creature standing on, we'll say, the right of it disappear and go away. Of course, if there's nothing to the right of it, imagine whatever standing on the left side of the Loch Ness Monster disappear. Now, maybe you're one of the people who doesn't have the Loch Ness Monster. Maybe you're looking at the alien and the ghost. If those were the two creatures, I want you to tell the creature, whichever one ended up on the right, to disappear. So that means everyone should have just one creature left. A perfect figment of all of your imaginations. Picture it one way or another, we've gotten down to one imaginary creature. And you have to admit, if you had just seen an alien, a ghost, and the Loch Ness Monster, we'd all go to the top of the podcast charts at this point. We'd have that evidence. We'd be Instagram famous. But best of all, in your imaginations, you moved them around and told them what to do. You told them which ones to leave, whether to switch, which is why you are probably surprised that all of you are picturing the same creature left. All of you, despite you telling you whatever ones you wanted to go away, all of you should have ended up with the Loch Ness Monster. So as Nessie slides back into the lake, welcome back to reality and give yourselves a round of applause.
You guys up there, did y'all get it?
Yeah, I still got the ghost.
Listen again, it'll work.
You
You're
said
fine,
Victorian
you're fine.
home, and I'm like sold. I'm like stuck on that one.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
You got Loch Ness Monster?
My first
Yeah.
one to switch out was the ghost, and then I was stuck with the
Yeah.
alien.
That's
and Loch Ness.
those were
If
my
it didn't work, no joke. If it didn't work, listen back again. If you follow what's funny is that even if you want to listen back and try to track it all, what's interesting is when we did this through AI could not figure it out, which was kind of interesting. So if anyone wants to listen back, if you figure out why everyone ends up with the Loch Ness Monster, yeah, if you did it wrong, that's okay. Just listen to it again. Give everyone the views more. Give everyone more views, and then share it with someone. So there you go.
I probably maybe I did it wrong too.
It's okay.
I'm
Just
gonna
listen to it again.
listen to it again.
Yeah,
But
me too.
I got Nessie.
I got Nessie.
Yeah.
I was left with the alien and Ness and
That's who I was left with.
and the Loch Ness.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was cool.
Well, Joe, tell everybody where to find you. And I know you have, again, a show in October at the Maxwell Mansion. And this is located where at?
It's in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Nerds will know it as the birthplace of Gary Gygax, the creator of D&D. It's right in the middle of the Midwest, bottom of the Wisconsin, at the lower Wisconsin border, right over the border from Illinois. I am there every Tuesday in the summer, and I will be there in October as well. I've got other shows coming up as well. All my shows will be listed at joediamondlive.com, as well as themidwestmystic.com. Both of those go to the same website. And I am at Joe Diamond Live on all social media platforms. I'm letting people know now, like in the next week or so, tickets will be going on sale for Halloween. Because again, it's only 30 people per show. It's a small, intimate ballroom. But I'll be at the Maxwell Mansion October 30th and 31st. Halloween's on a Saturday this year.
I know.
And there's daylight savings. There's an extra hour of Halloween. It's also the 100-year anniversary of the death of Harry Houdini.
Oh.
So we're going to be holding a mini seance recreation in the show. It's called the Houdini Experiment. We're going to see if 100 years later, Houdini will make his presence known. Again, he's from Wisconsin, so it all kind of works together. We'll be doing that on the 30th and the 31st. So if anyone's nearby in the Midwest, keep an eye on my site and social media literally over the next week or two, because those will be going up very, very soon. And last year, we sold out the entire month of October before we got through September. So, and we're just doing these two, the 30th and 31st this year. So, yeah. So if you're in anywhere near the Midwest, this sounds any kind of remotely something you want to do to spend your Halloween this year, sign up to my mailing list or follow me on Instagram so you get the updates on that as soon as possible, because that's going to be 100 years in the making, and it's going to be a completely different show than what I normally do at the Maxwell as well. It's going to be a completely different evening of surprises. So.
Oh man, if I was closer, I would totally go there, because that sounds really good.
And then final thing too, just for the normal life, if you since everyone's watching this, on streaming or the recording or whatever, I travel for corporate and private events. So if your company is booking a entertainment for the holidays or something, tell them to check me out. I travel all over the country and beyond. Also, odds are pretty good that people watching, and we have the technology. Maybe you work remote. My wife works remote from home half the week. If that's the case, I do virtual performances as well. So if your job is remote, you have people spread out all over the country looking for something fun to do. Again, I started doing interactive Zoom shows during the lockdown, and I still do them. I still do 1 or 2 a month usually. Not counting these, they're private company events. So if you know someone who needs entertainment for a boring meeting and want to make it not as boring, send them this and let them know, hey, let's book them and come in and do some stuff with us. It'll be fun.
That's cool. Yes, we love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, you guys.
Because I'm damn, because a lot of his job, they do those corporate events and what do you call those? Mm-hmm. The morale stuff, Yeah, team building, all that. Team building. That's the word. Team building. There you go. a team of the stuff. So that's very good for that. Actually, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Joe, thank you for being with us. You are great, and it was very nice meeting you, talking to you on the back end, texting you back and forth, and you're such a great person. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're a great person as well. Thank you so much. I'm glad this worked out.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Joey and I were, only got on half the show, but thank you. It was very nice meeting you.
Well, hey, it's a good thing. Otherwise, the whole thing would have gone away, and I would have just been here and been like, "Hey, everyone!"
So we caught Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
And chat room, thank you guys very much for
chat room
and being participating with us. So that was cool that you guys got to do that. And always, the best way you can show love to us is by showing love to our guests. So please make sure you can check out Joe Diamond wherever he's at. And if you're in the Midwest, definitely check out that Halloween show. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And guys, bit of sad news. We will not be live next Sunday. Jen and I will be at the New Orleans Paracon next weekend. So you can happen to be in New Orleans, come and check us out, as well as friends of the show, Ron Iaccovetti, Lourdes,
Father Bob
Bailey that we've had on the show too. Bill Slevin.
Yeah, the whole bunch of people.
It'll be so fun.
So yeah, we will be there. Come check us out if you're there, and we will be back in 2 weeks. But guys, as always, please remember, if you want to get spooked, hit the notification bell, the like button, and please feel free to comment on this episode.
I was just about to say that.
We might go live from there. Don't cross.
Follow their Instagram. You never know.
Please feel free to comment on this episode. Tell your friends, tell your family, watch Spook Coast to Coast. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye.